Hello, everyone. Glad to see you back here at Silver Tears Tarot. And of course, a warm welcome to those of you who are joining us for the first time. So, welcome to another Soulmate series reading. That's my most popular playlist. It's the reason why a lot of people have come to this channel, um, and it's something that has really had some interesting messages in it lately. So, what we're going to look at today, we're going to investigate where the messages are pointing us. So, we're going to look at what you guys are supposed to be learning out of all of this. We've had readings on lessons before. We've had messages that come through periodically in most of the readings, actually, but a lot of the recent messages have been directing us back to what it is that you're here to learn from this experience. And one of you articulated it incredibly well the other day when you asked, "Why is this person in my life? Why did this person show up in my life? What am I supposed to be getting out of all this?" So that is really what the heart of this reading is all about. As usual for this channel, this will be a general reading. It's for all signs. And of course, we know it's not going to resonate with everybody. But if it does resonate with you, and it has been resonating with an increasing number of you, and we've seen some real patterns in there, I would say please subscribe so we can stick together. And then also make sure you hit like on the video so I know which ones you like and want more of. We're going to start here by looking at the energetic backdrop. And this is the energetic backdrop for you. It's the energetic backdrop involving everything that you're into. So it includes the energetic backdrop for your person and the situation. I'm reading for you with the Chrysalis Tarot. And then I'll clarify with the Spirit Song Tarot here in a moment. The keen eye will notice that I usually use these decks the opposite way, but I wanted to use them this way today. Sometimes they just feel different. All right, so that energy is the Lovers in reverse, and there's a card we haven't seen much of in recent readings. We saw it a lot for a while there. It was about not having a choice in a situation that involves love, but it was really just that situation of not having choices, not having opportunities, not being able to basically to have a choice laid out in front of you that wasn't really a choice. And that's kind of the energetic backdrop that you have here. Without that situation, you wouldn't have the extreme learning situation that has arisen. So this doesn't really surprise me. You've got to have some kind of conflict in order for this for you to actually stop and look to see what the lessons are going to be. So yeah, that makes sense that this is a situation where there's something that's been put out in front of you, but it's not actually what it appears to be, as far as it's not actually as much of a choice as it may have initially appeared. So why did this person come into your life? Let's just go ahead and ask that question. We've received several times new perspective. We've received several times that this person has come into your life to ensure that you learn some lessons. Some of these lessons were things that you were already kind of learning, things that you were already moving along and starting to understand. And this catalyzed some new learning for you, but not necessarily. It's not always clear as to why you are experiencing this, and this new perspective is the reason why. So the Celtic Owl is the equivalent of the Hanged Man in this deck. And it is all about the new perspective that you would not otherwise have gained without this experience that you are having with this person. So whether you're still in separation, whether you're back in learning mode together, um, this is going to be a situation that it brings you lessons, that brings you new perspectives. And that is the reason that you guys were brought together. So there's a strong bond here also. Without that, you wouldn't be inclined to stick together long enough to learn these lessons. There wouldn't be a big enough reason for you to do that. So let's take a look at the lessons that you are in fact here to learn, what you've been meant to learn. We've seen a lot across time, and the thing is, I think there have been multiple lessons. It's about Sometimes it's about what is the big picture lesson that you're here to learn? What is the next lesson that you're here to learn? There are a lot of things that we could potentially asking, that we could potentially be asking. But I think what we really want to get at here is the lessons that you're meant to learn, um, that you need to be thinking about at this time, because you've already been navigating a path of some lessons. So it's what needs your focus more than anything in your pile of lessons at this time. So we've got the two of wands, or the two of spirals rather, which is the equivalent of the two of wands. It's that fire energy. We've got the two of spirals here, and the two of spirals is telling us there is an impasse. There is something between the two of you that requires travel. So in this case, it's not so much physical travel, it's emotional travel, and it's trying to ultimately get you to a place where a proper decision can be made. So a two of spirals can also be, it can also be a crossroads. It can be an either or type of decision. But in order to do that, you're going to have to do some emotional travel, some emotional distance to get to a place where it all makes sense. And when you look at this picture up close, it's you see the bird is trying to decide between two nests. And so this is really trying to make a decision. In some cases, it's quite similar to what your person has been experiencing. They're trying to make a decision between two home life situations, maybe you are. And so what you're here to learn, though, is about not so much making those decisions, but setting yourself up for those decisions and being able to, we've heard a lot about discernment, but being able to discern what's the right path to go on every level, big picture and back in the details. So let's take a look and see how your person's lesson is coming along, because your lessons impact them and vice versa. There's a lot of there's a lot of impact when your person crosses a bridge. When they turn a corner, you will feel some of the benefit of that, and vice versa. And so it's helpful to know kind of where their lessons are in the process. So we've got the Eight of Mirrors. There's a return to something. They're making a return to something. So they had been walking away with a little bit of a pilgrimage. It was towards something that they thought they wanted, and now they discover that they. So remember that Nine of Cups, which would be the Nine of Mirrors in this deck. The Nine of Cups has been coming up over and over for us in a variety of readings, and it's been all about understanding what you want. And your person has been receiving the same request to understand what it is that they want. You quest in the Eight of Mirrors toward the Nine of Mirrors, toward that self, toward the true fulfillment of what you're looking for, and toward the wish fulfillment, what it is that constitutes your happiness. There is transformation involved, there is moving toward what that happiness is. Your person has done this, and now what they're discovering is they have mischaracterized their happiness. So as they're now making a return to something that they had missed, or that they feel like an opportunity has been missed. So let's take a look at the hidden energies that want to come out for you here. Sorry about the puppy noise in the background. Okay, so the hidden energies, what we're looking for here is what you can't see from where you're standing. And this is going to be specifically as it relates to this situation, so your soulmate situation, but also to your lessons, to the healing that you're doing, to your area of focus, which, as we now know right now, is more about putting yourself in a position to be able to make good decisions. Making good decisions almost, it's going to still be difficult, but it becomes a little bit more naturally once you've gotten yourself in a better position to evaluate them. But let's take a look at what's missing from the picture for you and what's hiding there. All right, we've got the Dreamer, the Knight of Mirrors. This is like the Knight of Cups. So that's a night of inspiration, and it's inspiration. There's some communication inherent in this energy as well. So there's something that's an inspiration that is missing from your current view. You're not able to see something that is going to help you make a leap. So that's kind of exciting. There's going to be, and you can even see this tiger is making a leap here. But what has inspired him to do this is what the thing that is currently missing from your view. It's currently what's hidden. So be watching for it, because that means there is something here that wants to inspire you, which is completely consistent with some of the recent readings that we've had, where you're being encouraged to do something that is new and exciting, but it's not super obvious what it is. This is part of the reason it's not super obvious what it is. Let's see, though, what you can do to best move forward. So, at this point, we know that you're working in an energetic backdrop of a choice that doesn't feel like a choice. You are here with this person so that you can both develop a new perspective. This isn't just you, both of you need to develop a new perspective. And you're here to learn not just how to make a decision, but how to put yourself in a position to be able to make a decision. Your person is moving along in theirs as well, their lessons as well. There's this feeling of kind of they're hiking and there are these switchbacks, and so right now it feels like they're kind of coming back into a place where they've been before, but it's not exactly like it was before. So it might be the same side of the mountain, but it's going to be at a different position on that mountain. Your inspiration is eluding you right now, but the implication here is that it isn't too far beneath the surface and that it's something you should be able to catch on to before too long. Let's see what you can best do, like I said, to move forward in this energy. And right away, the King of Spirals comes out. It's about passion, it's about uncovering this inspiration and utilizing your passion to step yourself forward. That is really what wants to come out here. Interesting. So, long about the very beginning, I started thinking that I couldn't wait to clarify and start to see what it is that fills the rest of this out. So we'll start here with the lovers. We've got the Seven of Crystals that's come out in the reverse to start us out. So the Seven of Crystals in the upright is a card of having invested something. It's a card of having planted something that you're later going to be able to reap the rewards, reap the fruits of your labor. And so with the Seven of Crystals here in the reverse, there's a sense of not having, oh, we dropped one, and it's one we don't want. There's a sense of not having made that investment the way that you would want to have made that investment. So we're going to take the Justice card here in addition to that. There is there's a pull to make things right, and by make things right, it's not just an interaction between people, it's also about making things right with the balance of energy that is. So with this choice that doesn't feel like it's a choice, the direction that you might want to go but feel like that direction is blocked, would establish some clarity and balance in some ways. It would also create some other things that would have to be worked through, but it would establish some clarity and balance. And you're very drawn to this. You're very drawn to making something right. There's a lot of attraction within the situation, but not a lot of investment. So there's been maybe investment that's been uneven. I feel a little bit of that Six of Crystals. So this is earth energy. It's like the Seven of Pentacles, and I feel a little bit of Six of Pentacles in it as well. Where and that one would be in reverse as well, where that would be the energy not being super even or evenly exchanged between the two of you. So that's part of what I feel there in the energetic backdrop, but that's kind of what sets you up for the learnings that you have in your experience. So we asked the question, why is this person even in your life? Why did they come into your life? And it was all about creating a new perspective, which we also understand to be your purpose in their life. So we've got the Seven of Feathers in reverse, which is about creating some self trust. So the Seven of Feathers is air energy, and it's about trust of yourself. In the upright, the Seven of Feathers is it's about strategy, but it's also about manipulation in a way that is maybe not so great. Here in the reverse, the strategy doesn't necessarily go away, but some of the need for political strategy does, because or and it's almost like that internal political strategy. You start to trust yourself a little bit better, so there are certain things that you no longer need to do. But this only comes from a situation that, like I was saying before, this person, the connection that the two of you have is incredibly strong, and it has to be, because otherwise, the things that pushed you apart and created the fear could really have pushed you apart. Instead, you're still very much feeling the bond, and you're here creating that new perspective. That's the point of all this. Okay, we want the Knight of Crystals here. So the Knight of Crystals is, it's like the Knight of Pentacles because it's that earth energy. And so this is a slow, steady, long term sort of energy. It's not. It keeps going. It's something that, well, so it says determination down here, endurance and determination. That is exactly what wants to come through on this card, right, or in this from this card right now. This is the nature of the lesson, but it is also the nature of your overall trajectory of lessons. Okay, so it's about endurance. It's not a sprint. It is absolutely a marathon. It is something that is long and slow, a little bit arduous and uphill sometimes. Other times you're losing a little bit of ground, you know. Here, though, with this person, you're here to gather this new perspective, but the way that you're doing it is jarring. It's jarring to the soul. It's necessary. It's got to be that way in order for you to make these huge leaps that you're able to make in your healing. So let's look at this two of spirals. You're here to make these huge leaps in your healing, and you're making these huge leaps in your healing because of the catalyst nature of the energy between you and this person. You have this strong bond, this link that won't seem to go away, but just keeps prodding you with new lessons that have to be learned. So we asked what kind of lessons you had to learn, and we got this two of spirals. So you've got this bird that's evaluating a couple of nests and trying to make some decisions here. And you have to ask, well, how are you going to what are you going to base your decision on? What are the parameters of this decision? Could you just have both? What has to happen? So you have to be able to evaluate it, but in order to evaluate it, you've got to get to a place where you can even see it and think things through. So that is what your lesson really is about. It's coming to a place where you can back up and take enough steps back to be able to see what's really happening in order to properly evaluate the decision. So it's not that simple, and it's not necessarily a choice that you don't have a choice about either, because that's a perception from where you currently are with your current perspective. And we know you're headed for a new perspective. Whether or not this shows a lot in the way of the relationship is difficult to tell, but I think it's also, you almost can't miss it. It's like as things change in your perspective, what you've been here to learn, and learning how to evaluate different decisions, learning how to come at them and approach them a different way, it is necessarily going to change things the way that they feel with your person. So we've got some more earth energy that came out here. We got the King of Crystals and the Page of Crystals. So that's going to be like the Page of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles, which are earth energy is really got a certain stability to it, which makes plenty of sense. But it's like this is a stability that you have to earn, or that you grow into. That's a better way of saying it. There is a lot of learning. There's a lot of putting yourself in a position to take in ideas, putting yourself in a position to truly learn, bringing the discipline that is required to learn what you need to learn. And this, what we now know and what we've experienced, is a fairly slow process to get to these new perspectives, but the new perspectives are ultimately worth it. And part of it, comes about because of this increase in self-trust, but that increase in self-trust is like one of the steps. along the way. And so this energy that's ultimately leading you is this King of Crystals energy, and it is a very well put together energy. This is in the depending on the situation, this is the energy of the king who has his cake and eats it too. He is well resourced. He's the businessman. He's the head of the household, along with the Queen of Crystals, the head of households for that Ten of Crystals situation, which is really that ideal household where everybody has what they need. They have the resources, the emotional support, the appropriate nurturing, and he feels like he belongs here, but he had to get here somewhere. So there's certainly that learning process that gets you to this place. You end up being a much more confident decision maker about your own life at the end of, um, well, an end of this path is a difficult word or difficult phrase to use because this is something that really just, it's ongoing, and you will continue, you'll always just be put out onto another path. Some are easier to traverse than others, obviously. So let's take a look at this Eight of Mirrors. And this is how your person's lesson is coming along. I mentioned switchbacks. I mentioned them working back and forth to try and they're approaching what they think is their happiness, but now they're kind of coming back to something that they feel was maybe a little bit more of a missed opportunity. Let's see what else wants to come out for that one. So we have the Six of Shells. That is nostalgia. That's like the Six of Cups. It's water energy. It's nostalgia. It's happiness. There's a lot of feeling in there. There's a lot of happy memories, a lot of joyfulness. It's got a very positive sense to it. That's, with the Six of Cups doesn't always have quite as positive a sense to it as this. This is almost like a minor arcana sun, but it's like a rear view mirror facing sun. It's interesting. Then we also have the Ten of Acorns. So that's fire energy. The fire, so Ten of Acorns is, it's about having too much responsibility. Okay. It's a card of too much responsibility where there's been a bit of a burnout or something, need to lay some things down. And it immediately reminds me of, okay, so we had the Ten of Wands come out in a recent reading. It was a few readings back, but it came out, and what it meant was it was all about not necessarily setting your load down. Okay. It was about figuring out which pieces of things you don't control, because the load was made primarily of worry. Okay. And so figuring out which of the items in there you control and which ones you don't. And if you can't control it, maybe removing it from the load that you were carrying, that load of worry that you were carrying. This has that same sort of feel to it. But it's very much, here's where the switchbacks come back in. This is something that's going to happen over time. It's not automatically going to just happen all at once. Okay, there it is. I've set down all my worries. I've detached myself from all my worries that were holding me down. It's a lot more gradual than that. We know the lessons are gradual on your side too. It's true over here as well. Your person has to get to a place where they're not fighting a lot of battles that are essentially unnecessary and not helping them out very much. Um, but they have some guidance in all of this, and that guidance comes from the happiness that they felt when they were with you, and that's the return that they appear to be making. But ultimately, that'll bring them close enough that they'll kind of have to push off again, go in another direction, and potentially do another switchback, because their lessons have to continue, and some of them have to continue without your input, without your direct assistance, although you working through anything else over here does provide some assistance. So let's look at this Knight of Mirrors. This was the hidden energy, what you can't see from where you're standing, and it was about this inspiration. So you've been told to go forth and do something very passionate, do something that's going to light things up for you. We've seen that in previous readings, and we see it again here. So we've got the Page of Acorns. The Page of Acorns. Okay. What we've got with, because this is fire energy, what we've got here is a curiosity. Okay, it's difficult to know what to be curious when. Okay, when you need to allow your curiosity to come out and just blossom, because that's part of where your inspiration is going to catch. Okay, something is going to catch, but it's about allowing yourself to get out there and see something that you maybe haven't seen before. And there's a nice balance that's going to come along with that as well, but it's not coming right away. So what you're doing is, um, as you've had a lot of energy moving in your soulmate's direction in this situation. We've gotten all these readings that are saying to kind of move back toward the direction of the lessons, to focus on yourself, make sure that that's what you're doing, because ultimately that is going to be what allows you to reconcile with your person, potentially to reunite with them with any success. And it's also the main purpose of the two of you coming together, to get this new perspective, to learn what you're here to learn. But one of the things that you've also been told is go out and light your soul on fire. Allow your soul to be lit on fire. That's part of what's going to help to pull you back from this edge where you're spending an awful lot of time focused on your soulmate. So it's going to help to create this balance, which will be, it's a challenging balance, but you're ready for this. And we know that the inspiration, so the inspiration is almost indiscernible from what's coming off of this page of acorns, which really ends up being like a combination between enthusiasm, attraction, curiosity. It all just kind of merges into this leap that you're enabling here. But that energy, it's like once it starts, it goes really fast, and you're being encouraged to jump in and really go there, like find that direction and do the heck out of it. Um, this is this is a recurring message. It's a recurring message that has shown up in so many of these readings. We're going to do an extended. So when I wrap this up, we're going to go a little bit farther in, to understand a little bit more about this right here, this place that you're supposed to be putting all of your passion. Because this is the Three of Feathers. It helps to bleed the pain right back away from you. You feel so much better with this in your life. Okay, let me move these cards. Oh, this is exciting. Yeah, we have to get in here and dig in a little bit deeper and just kind of see. So there's this super passionate place where you're going to put some of your energy, and it's going to light you on fire and allow you to do even more as you're learning these lessons. But not only that, you're going to be inspired. You're going to enjoy it so much more than what you maybe have in the past. This experience over here that has created an impasse, that has created a tough time for you, um, that's that's been a huge distraction, and it's part of what this thing that you're passionate about is going to pull you back from. We've got a return for you, similar to the energy that we've got in your person's energy. We got to take a closer look at your person's situation as well, when we get into this extended. And then we have this Eight of Acorns, which is, I'm kind of jumping all over the place. It's really exciting. So over here, the passion that you're being asked to expend, this is going to be your best path forward as you navigate things. It's going to make the pain, the brokenheartedness just sort of fall away, and it's real. It's not going to be the kind of thing where you're covering it up. It's going to be a situation where during this passionate experience, you're actually going to solve some issues that have been tough ones to solve, because you've already gone through and started solving some things. There is a return to something that you've experienced in the past, and there is definitely going to be an opportunity for you to evaluate and think about things, because energy is going to slow down a little bit and just kind of make things a little bit calmer for you, at least momentarily, while you're evaluating. This is going to be part of what teaches you what it feels like to make a healthy evaluation of a decision. And this is part of what you're here to learn. That's one of the main lessons that you're here to learn. So, okay, we're going to go into the extended. And what I really want to ask for you is we will take a closer look at your person's lessons and their situation, but we're going to take a closer look in here and also understand. So we've got, what are you meant to learn? We found that you're supposed to be gathering this new perspective. You're learning how to make better decisions. Let's learn a little bit more about that, but let's also learn about what you need to be focused on right now, and that's the part of this reading that gets me super excited. So we'll save it for last. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and jump into the extended. If this one has resonated with you, please do subscribe. Hit like so I know these are the ones you like. I'll see you in the extended. The link is down below. Or I hope to see you again in another reading.